All right. Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and blessings. This is Naseed Gifted, and
Dilettante J Bass.
and this is the Futures Black Podcast. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. This is episode 10, man. We got episode 10, man, where we are looking at beyond the pixels, black voices in game writing. Explore the untold stories, rich narratives, and futuristic visions crafted by the black voices in the world of game writing. Beyond the Pixels invite you to embark on a journey through Afrofuturism, where technology meets storytelling. So we have a number of things that we're going to talk about today, but we're focusing on game writing, video game development, black voice in gaming and everything. And that's something that we generally don't see a lot of. So we wanted to kind of tap into that. And, once again, you are tuned in. So we need you to tune in each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. Hey, we need you to do a number of things. We need you to don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching. Definitely thank you for watching. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And we're here, man. We're here. We just wanted to be consistent and be able to talk about this. So beyond pixels, we know that there's a number of computer programmers, video game designers, and everything, and then a number of people who are actually in the gaming world. But the one thing that we want to kind of tap into is we want to always see more, not only just black characters, but black voice in the game writing. So who are in these writing rooms coming up with this thing? One of the statistics that I actually found out today when we talk about game writing or writing a game, when you talk about writing a movie script is generally 120 to anywhere to 120, 150 pages, depending on how long the movie is, right? So it's generally a page per minute.
Mm.
But one of the statistics that I found out with writing a game or game writing is the scripts are generally 300 to 500 pages, yo. So that's how much game and content that they're putting into these games. And of course, for those gamers out there, shout out to you, the one who spends hours and hours of gameplay to make sure you get past all of these levels and get to the to get to the end or and play and have hours and hours of gameplay. That's because the script has been written so that you can actually uh have those number of games, because of the actions and everything, and it's always interactive, the user interface and everything else that's tied into that. But one of the things is just making sure that we have our voice in the creative rooms, with regards to that. So on gaming platforms, and that's where we talk about voice. Uh, there's a number of voice actors, and if you're a voice actor out there, and you looking for work, make sure that you look into gaming and game design, because not only for the music industry, but for voiceover work, as when we talk about 300 to 500 pages of script, there is a number of voice acting opportunities within the game, and all of the characters that you think about, somebody's voicing those particular characters and everything. And those voices should be you. We got to make sure that we get our black and browns in there to be able to voice, because we actually have an article that I wanted to kind of highlight. But in a number of these games, and I'm gonna let me share this. I want to share this, and I want to kind of get see what people are thinking about with these particular things. And this one comes out of Vice, Vice.com, where we got black video game characters are still often voiced by white actors, right?
Mm.
So even though we have underrepresentation within the gaming industry, we have a number of, and it's funny, and I'm gonna give you the stats later. When we talk about, you could probably name some black characters in your games and some of your favorite games and everything, but when you actually talk about the actual number of games and the number of characters is crazy. They're dropping about 8,000 titles a year, and that's just like on the independent side, right? Not even talking about, I ain't even talking about, on the major platforms and they doing those type of things. But on the major platforms for 2024, there were 5 black characters in one of the major games. Out of all the games, there are 5 black characters.
Now, is that eliminating the basketball games?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Eliminating the sports games. I'm talking about,
Okay. Gotta be clear.
Yeah,
Take
definitely.
away the sports.
Yeah, taking away the sports. But even with that, we can talk about the characters. And generally, and that was one of the things that we were kind of talking about earlier, is that most of the time we see our black characters were in all of the sports games, going back to Mike Tyson Punch Out and some of the other stuff that we used to play. Some of the fighting games where you went into Mortal Kombat, where it was Jackson. Who else was in there?
And Street Fighter.
And a number of other things. But even with those, even though we still got like a few characters within it, they're being voiced by other people other than black and browns, which is like so crazy, man.
You can tell by the voice pattern.
Yeah, and definitely do. So just missing out on opportunities to kind of even get into that, and before we even go even further, I just wanted to make sure that, let us know where you tapping in from, let us know where you tuning in from, because we definitely take that data. We and if you have any questions, concerns, or whatever, please make sure you tap in, with regards to that. But going back to it, hey, there is a number of opportunities that's out there, but our voice needs to be in these writing rooms, because we talk about cultural aesthetics, we talking about vernacular, we talking about relevance, to our plight and journey, and not just having these opportunities, but making sure that these things are authentic, and not just some representation or some misrepresentation of stereotypes and everything else that, that kind of goes into some of the stuff, like that we've seen across a lot of these media streams.
The same issue all the time.
Yeah, man.
Stereotypes from the video games to the cartoons.
Oh
We
yeah,
have the
yeah.
same issue.
I mean, and that's why, we have this type of platform to be able to have you tap in, so you can know these numbers. I mean, I know we talked about it last week, but the video game industry is a $440 billion industry, right? And to be in these creative rooms, I mean, I was looking at the number of developers and within the various content areas and stuff like that. I mean, and the numbers are, staggering. When I looked at some of the platforms and some of the people that's actually a part of all of this stuff, I mean, it's crazy. But we do have some people that's making some really, really powerful moves, within the industry and stuff, just being able to know that they can do this. So just kind of going into, like when I was talking about the characters. So for this year, 2024, the only game that was launched on a major platform, we talking about Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League. They had 3 black characters, right? Three characters, and there was Jon Stewart, Amanda Waller, and Floyd Lawton, which is Deadshot. In 2023 there was 4 characters. In 2022 there was 4 characters. 2021 there was 3 characters, and in 2020 there was 1. So right before COVID and everything, we started getting more representation. But as you can see, still there is definitely a lack, within these video games and everything. I mean, and like, what we gonna do about that? That's really what it comes down to.
For me, is a deep ingrained thing that's beyond video games that we have to unpack, and that's cultural relevancy and also image and perception, which has nothing to do. It's this concept when we in school, elementary school, high school, where it's though the tech guy is seen as a nerd and nobody wants to be the nerd or whatever it may be. So for us to overcome that, we have to make intelligence cool again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we have to make intelligence cool again, and we have to highlight technology in a way that makes it where everybody want to be a part of it. Like, so now when you begin to do that, you'll spark more the interest of more youth, more younger people, and then they'll begin to go into those fields of technology, gaming, this, that, so they can begin to shape it. But it's hard to do that if they don't even see that opportunity, because they don't see it as cool or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, but the part that we got to understand too is like we are the largest consumers within this market, right? So definitely want to be able to know what it is that, like, we got to be creators and innovators in these spaces. So and I'm always talking about not being the consumers, but being the creators and innovators. And shout out to Quentin. Quentin, thanks for tuning in and everything. As you can see, his comment, we just wanted to make sure that we not phase out of the market and in a ton of these things, man. So thank you for tuning in. Definitely for tapping in, man. This is the Phocused Black podcast. And we always talk about, how we are able to take this and move it to the next level. Because it's one thing to talk about it, but how do we move people? How do we educate the community about all of this stuff? Because like, I like to throw the numbers out there because people don't even realize, like, okay, I'm gonna buy this kid a game, or or I want to spend money on games, or I don't want to spend money on games. But just knowing that $440 billion being spent on this gaming industry, period. You got all these different streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube and all this other stuff. I mean, even now with gameplay, we used to actually play video games And now
They
you got
watch.
people watching people play video games or whatever. So it's like that's like just like super crazy, man. So making intelligence cool. That was definitely a tough point. And brother Quentin actually agree with you and everything with that. So thank you for the like once again tapping in. With regards to that.
Because even sometimes you look at it now, right? Say like in hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have hip hop concerts everywhere. They'll have this everywhere. So people like us or people in the tech world need to somehow combine technology with social activity.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if we say we're going to do a party, and then the party we're going to have a green screen.
Yeah.
And then the green screen we're going to have the hookups, the sensors hookup will show how a video game is made all in the party at the same time. And
So almost like a virtual interface or whatever. So you can.
yeah, so now and then in this side we have data like, yo, this person makes 100 and 200,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
This person makes this. Because sometimes we need to attach the financial figure
Oh yeah.
to the position. Because if you look out here and say everybody want to be a real estate agent,
Oh yeah.
everybody want to be this. But imagine if you start telling how much the game writer makes,
Oh
the
yeah.
game developer makes, the such and such, and we start doing this at a young age. Like we start doing this at college fairs,
Mm-hmm.
such and such.
Yeah.
Like
Now you gotta
yeah, you would change, you would create a paradigm shift, and people would begin to say, you know what? I think I want to go in that field. It's no longer just looked at as a joke or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a man, you'll hear women say a lot, even though the women in gaming has jumped dramatically. But you'll hear women say, man, you're a grown man playing video games.
yeah.
Or you're a grown man watching cartoons. But they're not looking at it, the millions of dollars it generates.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if we put the two together.
Oh yeah.
To say, hey man, this cats that's getting paid to play video games, to test them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they got scholarship opportunities. They got a whole bunch of stuff that's going in this whole gaming. I mean, and a lot of people. I mean, the NBA, the NFL, they actually have e-gaming players or professionals that are making tons of money just because they're playing these particular platforms or whatever the case may be. Now that's a little harder to do than from the development side and everything, because that's just like like how you would get into the league or whatever, so that 1 out of 30 jobs a year, and well, the 30 jobs out of all of the millions of people who are trying to bid for those 30 jobs. But one of the things, when I had one of the Jets players who came to the school and talked to our young people, right? And one of the points that he really harped in on was, there is limited opportunities to go professional in sports, but everyone could go professional in STEM. You know what I'm saying? So because that opportunity is there, and it's the odds of you actually being able to get an opportunity are much more favorable than you actually, the 1 in a million chance that you get to, make it into the league, regardless of your skill level and, your prospect and everything. Because even with that, you make it into, professional sports, your timeline is still only 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's that. LeBron James are few and far in between.
He's an exception.
He's an exception of he's an exception of all the rules, but when you look at the All-Star game, for instance, those brothers are interchanging in and out every year for the most part. Somebody new gets in, somebody else comes out, You don't really, I mean, you have some consistent people, that's been going in. But if you look at the last 5 years, half of those individuals have been switched out already, and then if you went back 10 years, there's only like 1 or 2 people that still, are all-star level or whatever the case may be, But once again, there's a ton of plethora of
Now,
opportunities in STEM.
even what you say as far as the STEM, and we're talking about the background again, people, the minority of people that's in that field, far as black people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, we can grow that number, but in order for to grow the number, people like you and I and a few others have to lead the helm
Yep.
for the number to grow. And the way we do it is we have to create the programs
Yeah.
to attract the youth or the next group of people,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't expect the number to grow if the people don't know.
Oh yeah.
And what's happening is you go into other communities, they'll have STEM opportunities, STEM programs. They may have a video game or gaming program.
Yeah.
So it's like,
They do game jams and
yeah,
all these
we
other
have to
things.
start bringing that into certain urban communities.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do the work, or not us just particularly, but reach out to people that want to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like the brother from the football league said, we have 1,000 basketball leagues, 1,000 anything dealing with sports. We and pour money nonstop because that's what he wants his athletes. So we have to go in that same mindset. Let's have robotics. Let's have gaming. Let's have this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a building, an institution where they just push technology
Yep.
nonstop. And what happened is it will begin to make a change. Like, for example, recently we took the kids a HBCU scholarship ride. We took the kids to Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
the college, and they have the School of Dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had 15 kids. So I don't know if you know the three doctors.
Oh
They
yeah.
wrote the book. One of them a dentist. So he allowed us to bring the students there. When the students got there, he talked, and then they took them to the lab, and they started making dentistry molds and stuff like that for the teeth and how you do it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Posted it on Instagram. People hitting it up like, yo, that's dope. How do my kid get to do that program?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, bro, what is it? This. We have to use the technology.
Oh yeah.
To get us deeper into the technology.
Yeah, because the lack of exposure, because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, and that's kind of like for us, like how we even got into we were exposed, but we were curious, and we entered into these programs, and because something struck our interest, we kind of stayed with it and kind of pushed through. So we're just going to pause on that for a minute. We're just going to let people know you're tuned into the Futures Black podcast each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Thank you all for tapping in. Hey, we got some new subscribers. We definitely thank you. Thank you for tapping in. We definitely appreciate you. Man, we got a number of things that's going on, but we talking about beyond the pixels. So beyond the code, beyond the pixels, we talking about Black voice in game writing. We talking about Black voice in game writing and how to be able to change that and understand that this industry, which is a $440 billion industry, with only 2% of Black and browns within it. How do we make sure that we are at the table, we are writing these games? How do we make sure we're maximizing on the various opportunities? Because we talk about this, if you play video games and everything. I'm not a game head. My brother is, like I used to coach him. That was my thing. I coach my brother on the game and everything. He was the game master, whatever. So I called myself coaching him. But with that, if you ever get to the end of the game and you see all of the names and the credits and everything, those are the people that we're talking about, right? And then when we talk about characters and storylines and all of that stuff, just like how we're here at this table talking about, the Futures Black podcast and Black voice and game writing, we need to be at those tables at the developers coming up with the storylines and everything else. And sometimes when you don't have a table to sit at, we actually have to build the table. So that's something else. And, we want to kind of highlight some of the people who are doing the work. Last week, we interviewed Derek Garvin of Poet Code, who's coming out with Dynasty of the Magi, who's doing a phenomenal job with that particular project, which is comedic Black Afrofuturism. It's like it's based in Newark and East Orange, New Jersey. For those who are tuning in. So if you didn't get a chance to see that episode, make sure you tap into that. That was episode 9, and that was something that he did, and he was very intentional about. And he's about to do the actual beta testing on that, and he's been showcasing it at KHEM FEST and just getting people ready, priming them, for the opportunity to be a part of this particular journey. But the one thing that he talked about, and the amount of money and grants that he raised, he did funding rounds where he raised $1 million for this particular project in his company to be able to do this, because there is so many people that's involved in order to even make a game. There is some level of design that you could be a part of regardless of your skill level, just because you're passionate about this particular industry.
Okay. That's what's up.
And just doing some research and everything, and I just want to kind of give them a shout out and everything. It's a nonprofit organization who's been doing the work. So I wanted to kind of give them a shout out. I want to show them on the screen. Let me show the screen here. Yep, here we go. So shout out to Black Voices in Gaming. They're actually doing a number of programs, throughout the country. This was actually organized by three brothers who wanted their voices to be heard and do some, some phenomenal things. But they do some programs throughout the country. And I found out that they're from Oakland, California, man. If you have a mobile gaming idea, they give you steps on how to actually build your actual concept out. So they have a whole step in platform. So this is Black Voices in Gaming. Black Voices in Gaming. This is a nonprofit organization that's doing the work. And just wanted to kind of, talk about what they're doing. Their goal is uplifting Black voice in gaming, beginning with addressing the 3 specific ways in which Black game developers can survive and thrive in the video gaming industry. Narrative change, elevating the voices and contributions of Black game developers, showcasing their work on multiple large platforms and showcasing the faces behind these projects. Power building, pushing back on systematic racism and pushing for racial equity and inclusion across the gaming industry. And system changes is confronting decades of long structural barriers and glaring anti-Blackness within the gaming industry that prevents Black game developers from thriving. And these are the 3 brothers, like I said here, Justin Woodward, Alfonso Hooker, and David Lindsley, who are doing this work. And, shout out to them. They actually are part of another platform. So I wanted to give them a shout out before we actually get into some of the game developers and individuals that are actually doing some phenomenal work, man.
Yes. Also shared at KHEM FEST.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Big event happening.
Big event coming up in April. Let me see. Is this the right video? I think it is. That's not it. Yeah, here we go.
Make sure y'all there. Make
sure you come out. We're gonna pause for a second and make sure you come out to KHEM FEST, Miami, Florida. Is going to be a part of ByteCon week. So once again, that's KHEM FEST, celebration of Black animation, gaming, and comic book creators, happening on the 27th and 28th of April next month. Next month, this is going to be big, man, for our 10th annual. But it's a part of a larger ByteCon week where next month in Miami, if you don't know, is Miami Tech Month. And we actually have a number of activations from the 21st through the 28th, which is called ByteCon Week. ByteCon Week, which is Blacks Innovation, Techs, and Entertainment. So we have a conference. We actually have two conferences. We have the ByteCon conference, and of course, KHEM Fest. We're going to be celebrating animation with the KHEM Animation Film Festival, as well as we're going to have a number of panels. Black women in comics, gaming, and animation. We're going to have panels on that. We're going to talk about NFTs. We're going to talk about the metaverse, and we're going to talk about cryptocurrency and how AI is going to affect the whole industry. We're going to tap into all of those things, man. So there's a number of opportunities to be a part of. And then we're going to have a Wakanda Ball. The Wakanda Ball, man, this is going to be phenomenal. So you're in Miami and then you getting dressed and moving to a space as if we are in the future and we're going to Wakanda. So we talk about Afrofuturism at its finest. And then we put together the Tesla light show. So the Phocused Black Tesla light show. So we're going to be tapped in all week long down in Miami doing some phenomenal things, man. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you tap into KHEM Fest, KHEMFest.com. I'm going to put that up there for everybody to see. KHEMFest.com, where you could get all the information and you actually see all of the events that's going to be happening from the 21st to the 28th. But the actual KHEM Fest is going to be the 27th and 28th, along with the Wakanda Ball, which is going to be happening that night, the 27th that night. So, man, hey, man, we definitely excited about that, but want to give some shout outs, for some Black voices in gaming. When we talk about Black voice in animation, we think about Michelle Morgan, who's a voice actor who's been doing some phenomenal work. But when we talk about gaming, they're behind the screen. So a lot of people don't know about these individuals. But one individual that a lot of people know is Phil Lamar. So Phil Lamar, he was actually Vamp in Metal Gear. So a lot besides all of the other roles that he's been a part of, from Static Shock to a number of other different opportunities. But you have Raval Davis. You got Arthur Backhart, who's the voice of Venom in Ultimate Spider-Man. That's one of his older things. And he was also the voice of Pete in Disney's Goofy video game. Erica Luttrell. Erica Luttrell is a part of Apex Legends. So she's one of the voice actors of that. Karen Dwyer. Karen Dwyer, who is Erica on Street Fighter. So she's part of the Street Fighter series or franchise. David Scully, who's the voice of Avery John for Halo. You got Jenna, who's the voice of Lola from After Party. And Abubakar Salim, who's Bayake from the Assassin's Creed series, Assassin's Creed Origins. So that is a number of voice actors. Oh, and I'm sorry, don't want to forget Grace Walker from Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, who's all these individuals are doing some phenomenal work. So I wanted to kind of just give them a shout out, because that's actually is Black voice in video games and game writing. But making sure that even though I named those few people, there is still a ton of room that we need to be able to tap into to make sure that we need to have more representation within this particular space. And once again, let us know where you tapping in from. We see that we have a number of individuals that's here, but let us know where you tap. And if you have any questions, we are live, so we can actually answer your questions live. And if you have any comments, any statements that you want to, kind of know about this $440 billion industry, let us know. And then how do you think we get more Black voice into the game writing rooms and everything, because we got to change this paradigm. Less than 2%, of individuals, and these are a number of STEM or STEAM opportunities that are available for our people.
Another avenue, for some people to reach a certain level where they benefited is you have a lot of black rappers
Mm-hmm.
and musicians in video games. From what Snoop Dogg to 50 Cent, Wu Tang, Redman.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
was all characters in video games.
And I mean, and Snoop is actually
Yeah,
one of the largest black gamers. So he's
Yeah.
actually, so shout out to Snoop, one of the top. He's Doggy Dog 20, who got like 787,000 followers on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Snoop, who's a avid gamer, heavy gamer. T-Pain is a heavy gamer. And my man from Brooklyn, shout out to the BK, but my man, hip hop gamer, man, he's doing his numbers and everything on YouTube and subscribers, on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, but yeah, Facebook too, but Instagram and everything.
Yeah.
Who's going around advocating to make sure that we have more black and browns within this space, but just making sure that gaming looks cool, man, because when we think about the gamer, we think about inviting somebody to your room, and
Just sitting there playing video games.
sitting there playing video games. Like, oh man, what was the movie? How Did I Get Married? It was the one character that was married. I mean, what's the Steve Harvey book?
Oh, Why Did I Get Married?
No, not Why was it? Oh no, remember he wrote the book.
Think Like a Man.
Think Like a Man. And
Yeah.
then the one guy, he was the gamer who was married to what's the Wayne Wade's wife name?
I forgot. Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, Gabrielle Union or whatever. And he was a gamer, but
just like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
He was a gamer in the movie with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Married to Ice Cube's sister or something. And he was taking it serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, colleges are offering scholarship opportunities. There's a number of ways and portals to kind of, enter your way, but turning your passion into something that becomes lucrative is something that we want you to be able to do with regards to this whole industry and everything, not just, just consuming. We got to get out of the consumption role and then become creators and innovators within all of these particular spaces, man.
Yeah. Where we at?
I mean, we talked about the importance of representation, addressing challenges where we talk about, the numbers is low, but how we get them higher?
Well, basically, exposure. But what else has to change too? When we make it, or we have to span our thought process, like, remember years ago when we was doing a clothing line?
Yeah.
And we went to the SBA office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy couldn't understand.
Yeah, how to make how it's profitable or
to have a clothing line, because he had an engineer mindset. And it goes to say, like, we have to be multifaceted and understand, like, there's a million avenues of making money.
Yep.
So with that being said, we have to start investing in things sometime outside our thought process, or do the research.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll have somebody may become successful in real estate, right? And their child says, "Mom, I want to be a video game developer." Well, how you gonna make money off of that? Sometime the parent has to break out of their mindset and realize.
Well, I mean, but yeah, we got to educate them. You know?
Like to say.
I mean, they we don't know what we don't know. But I'll tell you one thing: the average salary of a video game developer is $116,000.
Yeah,
but, you know what I'm saying?
I don't mean just like that, but I'm talking about on a scale of this. We have successful Black people.
Mm-hmm.
But if y'all look, they all in the same fields.
Oh, yeah, entertainment.
We have to start branching out and say, not always leaving up to the celebrities, but sometimes say, hey, man, take some of these millions and let's create a Black gaming industry.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need you to take some of these millions and we can put together video game developers, or animation studio. Like, like, whereas though,
That sounds too logical though.
yeah, but this is a way we can overcome. We have to begin to take over the institutions, create the institutions that develop these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we lack, because we always feel we have to be the worker and not the owner.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
and so when we become successful, we have to begin to branch out into other ventures. That's what makes Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all these people powerful.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make millions in this, then say, all right, I'm going over here and controlling.
Yep.
Now they controlling every aspect of life, because they realize, hey, I can do all of this stuff if I have the right team in place, the right structure. So like for us as a people, we need to start tapping into people with the funds.
Mm-hmm.
And say,
so we can have the
man,
resource to be able to
like, hey man,
to manifest the idea.
Like, there's other avenues for you could make your money work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to this video game thing, they don't see, like you said, they don't see this as a over $400+ billion industry.
Yep.
Why? Because they's too busy over here in this world and not realizing the cat over here making 100 times more than they are, but they're not flashy.
Nah, it's not. It's not that sexy.
Yeah, it ain't.
It ain't sexy like that. They driving the same Lambos and all the other stuff and everything.
But what
you don't know about them like that.
Or when have you ever seen a video game developer? They'll be standing next to you with a $5 T-shirt and some jeans on and some sneakers they had
some
for
Vans.
5 years, and so you won't know.
Yep. Yeah.
And then what happens is you'll think they're a geek or they're corny or whatever it may be. So you overlook them, but not realizing this cat is a millionaire making X amount of dollars off this video game.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to change the narrative. I keep saying the perception out there.
Yeah.
So we can begin to really make an impact to say, hey man, and stop waiting. We keep waiting to the last minute.
We jump in too late, And I know, like, shout out to EYL and them brothers who always talking about, it's when you get into the market, right?
Yeah.
Because this artificial intelligence piece, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. If you don't tap in now, while it's still new, you're gonna be left behind, and then you're gonna be worried about, oh, how is this going to affect my job? You need to know how you can use this as a resource before you become replaced. So
because pretty soon it's gonna the AI gonna even affect the video gaming.
Oh yeah.
Because
I mean they're developing videos what so realistic right now.
I just saw one app, not Sora. Is it Sora?
Well, Sora, Sora is the one that does the 1 minute. Ultra realistic video. Now they don't have audio with it, but that's only a matter of time before you start thinking that.
Now the question is, at the end of the day, pretty soon they're gonna use an app like Sora, which they probably got, and create a whole video game off of that. Like combine the technology.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because right now with ChatGPT, you can write code. For whatever aspect that you're looking for, within JavaScript, C++, or whatever, you could do that. And then you, with all of this stuff, you still have to know enough about it to be able to, build, test, modify, because it's part of the whole engineering cycle. But at least it gets you the foundational stuff to be able to, modify it and then, craft it to be your own.
Now, even when you said a video game writer, right?
Yep.
You got all these brothers and sisters writing books all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm working on my book.
Yeah.
I'm working on this book, this book. Imagine if you take the time and work on a book for video games,
Yeah.
500 pages,
Yeah.
I don't have the energy.
No. But I'm like 300 to 500 pages, and
That's
then you got. That's why I was saying, like, so if you're a voice actor,
yeah,
these scripts for these games are 300 to 500 pages. You know how much work that is for you for one game?
yeah.
And you super talented and you could do 5 to 6 voices or 7 voices or whatever.
Yeah.
You caking off a video
That's a
game
game
if you get
that-
on the right project.
Yeah, because not all video games have voices. So
Not all of
some
them.
just said what sound effects. But
But they try to make video games more realistic nowadays.
yeah,
So there is, I mean, especially with the larger
military and the shoot, like the those games.
I mean, it's not like Techno Bowl, man. Remember
Yeah.
Techno Bowl? That was 8-bit. No, was that 8-bit or 4-bit? I forget exactly what it was back then.
Man, we thought we were doing something when Double Dribble came out.
Oh,
Double
man.
Dribble. Tecmo Bowl, Super Bowl.
Where he was doing cut shots of the dunks. It was the same dunk every time, same black and white.
Turn gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we playing that, and it's all black people, and then the daggone the dunking thing was all white guys.
Yeah.
what the hell? And that was in the 90s.
Yeah. So video games came a long way from the Atari, from the black man invented the cartridge.
Oh yeah, we talked about Jerry Lawson last week. Yeah, Jerry Lawson.
So
man.
video games came along. Is an industry,
and Ed Smith
is an industry that's here to stay and just keeps growing and growing because every form of technology is interfaced with video gaming. From the binoculars to the what's the other ones? The Google glasses.
Oh, the Google Lens. And now you
everything.
got Apple. What's the Apple one called now? Apple Lens. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's Google Lens. Apple Vision. I'm sorry. Apple Vision. So Apple Vision.
All of them.
Yeah.
To make those things sell, the first thing they all had to do was pair it with a video game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, most equipment, when we talk about the military and everything, all of their training platforms are gamified.
Yep.
So it's gamified because that's how they go about training people. They put them in simulations, and those simulations allow you to be able to work on whatever equipment or weapons or whatever.
It was the first simulation of video games that people don't remember.
What, the flight simulator?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember how hard that joint was? You had to land like perfect. That's the same thing they use in flight school.
Yeah, I bet you.
A flight simulator, and that was a video game, and we was young, like 12. What was that came out? Had to been like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
And you just sitting. I remember playing that. It wasn't Top Gun or what was it called?
I forget. Yeah. That's way back.
Like first you was in the fighting your aircrafts, and then you had your jet, and then the part of the thing you had to land the jet.
Yeah.
And you had to do it perfect. Like you had to do just like you was a fighter. A pilot.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's the gamification of the whole industry, like I said. And that's why from we talk about people in the writing room, you need people to be able to design the script that goes along with that, because on all of these training platforms, being that they are gamified, they need more people to be able to develop this content, and understand, from an engineering standpoint, technical side of how these particular equipment and weapons and everything else, how they work.
Because now if you look at it, say like you playing a video game and you have the gun and you have your auxiliary pieces that you hold on, you got to move it in that virtual world. They took the same concept. Now they're using that same concept to do welding classes.
Oh yeah.
Do certain classes.
Shoot, they doing it with surgery. We talked about with virtual. We talked about virtual reality earlier. I mean, a couple episodes ago, where they're using it to train people on, and then they actually taking the heart out the body and then giving you a whole 3-dimensional view of it and turning it, in space, and being able to pull the various parts apart so you can actually see, the various components within the heart. I mean, like the stuff nowadays is super super phenomenal. You could be totally immersed in that without even, you know, remember we used to have to dissect the pig or something like that. You know, like they can
do that no more.
Now they don't, because it's not as
I
cost
love
efficient.
I love that experiment, man.
It used to be very smelly too, brother.
No, what was it? Nah, it was a pig. But remember what you had?
It was the fetuses and everything.
But remember we had what you did as a kind when we had to do the rat.
Yeah.
And you had to shave it down,
Yeah.
shave the throat down, and then slice it open.
Yeah, Professor Johnson, right?
Yeah, cut the.
Who used to say Lloyd Father.
And cut it open, and then stitch the rat back up. And if it goes,
I remember that.
If it dies, you get an F. And we had to put the rat to sleep with alcohol. They don't do that no more.
I mean, I'm hoping they do, but I haven't
did
heard
real live experiments.
Yeah,
in school.
I don't think they work on those things as much anymore.
The white rat. It was a big white rat too.
Yeah, man. So that's definitely something, man. That's definitely something. But thank you for tuning in to the Futures Black podcast each and every Thursday, Eastern Standard Time, man. We got a number of things that's going on, and one of those things, of course, next month we're going to keep hyping it up because we're doing something really big. Sorry, not that one. Yep. So that's KHEM Fest, the 10th annual, all a part of BikeCon Week, the 21st through the 28th, Miami, Florida. Once again, if you go to KHEMFest.com, you will definitely get all the information about all the plethora of events. The one I'm definitely two that I'm actually all of them excited about, but I'm just excited to see what people are going to look like at the Wakanda Ball, man.
Yeah.
And then what we're doing, the Futures Black Tesla. So we talk about Afrofuturism, we talk about Tesla light show, right? So we adding this nice flavor and elements to that, and I want to see how, because it hasn't been done yet. I've seen a Tesla light show, but it doesn't have our flavor, our lens on it, and everything. So we're looking to do that. So if you own a Tesla,
you're in Miami,
we want you to pull up. We want you to definitely pull up. Go to the Eventbrite so you can sign up. You can get your tickets if you want to spectate. If you own a Tesla, we want you to sign up to be a part of it. We're going to have a phenomenal time. Hey, we're gonna come out. We're gonna do some things. We're gonna change the world with all of this stuff, and then show you the leverage of how we can take tech and make it cool. Like Dilettante was saying earlier, like we got to make intelligence cool. I got into a lot of fights in elementary school, not as many in high school because I went to science high or whatever. So everybody was, considered, super smart or whatever. But when you grow up in the hood and you seen as intelligent and you got a different perspective on life, I would say, people will pick on you and try to challenge you and push you, a certain way. And I got into a ton of fights. A lot of them I lost. A number of them I won. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, one of the things that happened, and I'm not trying to manifest violence or anything like that on the podcast. Once I stood up for myself, they left me alone. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't gonna let nobody smack me in my head, take my food, do all of this stuff. To me, that just wasn't something that I was allowing to happen. And then when I stood up for myself, a lot of that stuff stopped. So And like at elementary school, I was in some of the top classes and everything, and that allowed me to go to further my education when I went to Science High and New Jersey Institute of Technology, pursue an engineering degree, and go into education and do some other things. So that's it.
Crazy about that. When I was in elementary school, Speedway, Camden Middle, it was always a race to see who could do their work the fastest.
Oh yeah.
And we would compete with each other. I don't care from the roughest kid to whatever. It was always a competition. Who got the right answer? I remember being in the back of the class joking all the time. And we still be like, my grade's higher than yours.
Yeah, no doubt. Because at the root of all of this stuff, and things have been shifting a little bit.
Now it ain't
it ain't the same, but you didn't want to be the dumbest in the class.
Yeah, that was it.
Like you never wanted to be the dumbest in the class. Like it was always some type of natural competition. And I think we were just naturally competitive. I mean, we played throw up, we did a number of things.
Everything was competition.
Everything was a competition. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't get participation trophies and fifth place trophies. Like if you got a fifth place trophy, that joint don't even come out. That joint stayed in the box or something. Like
they didn't even have it.
You know what I'm saying? Like
there was no fifth place. First, second, third.
Yeah, first, second, third. That was the only thing that was recognized. And if you didn't get those spots, you had to go back to the lab.
It was gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah, you had to go back to the lab and work. That was it, and you had something to strive for.
You know what else too, though? Being that we're talking about exposure, this, that, and the other. When we were younger, we would do more things technical than the kids today. We understood technology on a hands-on, from a nature perspective, but also we gave information to each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you was in class, we would share answers. We would give man, do it like this, do this. Because at the end, even though it was a competition, we didn't want none of our classmates to fail.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm talking about from elementary school all the way up to high school. We didn't believe in none of us failing. Like we all gotta make it. Like if you fail, it's like, what the heck? Why you ain't ask me for the answer?
Yeah.
Or
how to do it?
Yeah, just ask whatever. And I think that made a difference for us. We grew up in a time, I don't care how bad the kid was. He still was your classmate, and you still gonna help him.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the way we grew up. Now, it's like they be in isolation, they to themselves.
Yeah.
We wasn't like that. But I think as time goes on, we can change the narrative again. We're just starting to change where through exposure, it's going to be greater, more great, and more success stories. So,
yeah. I mean, definitely through the challenges, we're going to see triumphs, and we're going to continue to kind of push this narrative forward, man. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I think we're about to wrap up, and in closing, we need you to not only take advantage of these opportunities, but if they do not have a table for you to sit at, we need you to build your own table. That is something that we've always pushed as a people, as a community. And hey, everyone's looking for their next opportunity, but sometimes you got to create that opportunity for you. And that's through perseverance, resilience, integrity, determination, and above all, excellence in everything that you do. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Phocused Black Podcast. This with a friend, and we're going to close out in a second, but you got any closing remarks, brother, before we get out? And if you who are all tuning in, if you have any comments or anything that you want to say, please put those in the chat so we can address them before we wrap up. We got about 2 more minutes before we wrap up.
All I gotta say is peace, and keep studying and keep striving for greatness.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely hit them with that, man. You definitely got to keep striving, definitely got to keep pushing, man. We got to push this narrative forward. With that, we want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm just going to give it one more, couple more seconds before we do this. And hey, looking at these guys right here, man. I see Gifted and Dilettante J. Bass, the Futurist Black podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love doing this. We want you to all be a part of this particular community when we talk about blacks in tech and how we able to change the paradigm. Today we talk about behind the pixels. Last week we talked about the future of gaming and beyond the pixels, and we talk about black voice in game writing and how we'll be able to change that and being able to change all of this stuff. So with that, we're going to close out. So we thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for tapping in. Don't tap out. Be a part of all of this and the new revolution that's coming in when we talk about blacks in tech. Thank you. And everybody, take care of yourself. See you next week. Peace.